Okay. Good morning, everybody at Pritzker. It's Mr. Steve coming back at you. Do you remember me? It's been a couple of weeks since we've done one of these virtual classes, so I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you. Hope everybody's doing okay, staying safe, staying healthy. I want to say hello to Evie, to Finn, to John, and to Olivia. And you guessed it, Olivia, today we're going to be taking a deep dive at Time Adventure by Rebecca Sugar. And I want to give you a special thanks again to you and your family for printing these out for us those several months back. We're going to take a deep dive on this song. So if you don't have these lyrics and this sheet, these 2 pages with you, that's okay. We're going to try and make it work. This is actually from a website called ukulelehunt.com. So ukulelehunt.com. If you have the resources to go to that site and print it out, if you don't already have it, that would be really helpful. So for today, what you're going to need is, of course, yourself, your ukulele, and maybe a sheet of paper and something to write with, because we're going to be discussing these different chords. As you can see, there's a lot of chords in this song. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different chords in this song. So it's a tricky one. But I know that you all are up for the challenge, and that's what we're here to do. We're going to break it apart into little pieces and put it all back together so that you'll have the tools necessary to be able to play through this entire song. One of the pieces of good news is that it's only about 2 minutes long. It's a short song. So we're going to play through it. You can go to YouTube, and it's Adventure Time. Rebecca Sugar performs Time Adventure for Cartoon Network. This was just about a year and a half ago, really. August 11th, 2018 was when it was uploaded to YouTube. So this was at the San Diego Comic-Con 2018. And if you go to that video, the song itself starts at about the 23-second mark, but it's really pretty cute and sweet to see Rebecca Sugar kind of give a tribute to her Cartoon Network family. And we'll talk more about her later. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to just play through the song, okay? Just so you can kind of hear it, get a sense of the mood of the song. So here we go.
Time is an illusion that helps things make sense. So we're always living in the present tense. It seems unforgiving when a good thing ends. But you and I will always be back then. 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 Singing will happen, happening, happen. Will happen, happening, happen. And will happen again and again. 'Cause you and I will always be back then. If there was some amazing force outside of time to take us back to where we were, and hang each moment up like pictures on the wall inside a billion tiny frames so that we could see it all. It would look like will happen, happening, happened. Will happen, happening, happened. And will happen again and again. 'Cause you and I will always be back then. 'Cause you and I will always be back then. 'Cause you and I will always be back then. That's why you and I will always be best friends.
Okay, so let's take a step back. And as you can see, even I have a hard time keeping up with that song. So there's absolutely no shame in making some mistakes while you're playing through it. It's a very specific sort of song, and because it doesn't quite have a beat to it, the tempo is a little bit inconsistent, okay? And so we're going to sort of try and do our very best to kind of just play along with the song. But first, we're going to dive into the chords and the intro, the verse, the chorus, and the outro, okay? So every song, as you know, has a very specific architecture or structure to it, right? Just like any good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So we're going to kind of piece by piece go through this song. One thing I wanted to mention too, I'm looking at Rebecca Sugar's Wikipedia page. She was born July 9th, 1987, so she's 32 years old. Most notably, she worked as a storyboard artist and a writer on the animated television series Adventure Time for quite a while. 6 Primetime Emmy Award nominations, and then she also is the creator of the Cartoon Network series Steven Universe, making her the first woman to independently create a series for Cartoon Network. So it's very, very cool. And I want to thank Olivia again, not only for helping print out these lyrics, but for suggesting this song. It's a wonderful song, and it's a great addition to our collection, our arsenal of songs on the ukulele that we've been working on. I also think it's really notable that this was specifically composed for the ukulele. So it's a really ideal song for us to work on. And I know you're up for the challenge. It's not easy. So let's go chord by chord. We're going to start on the left side of the page. The first chord that you're going to see here is called the C major 7. And we talked a lot about why it's called a major 7. If we look at the C scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It's the 7th note in in that octave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That 2nd fret of your A string, your bottom string, for me it's my top string, that is a B in the C scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, I'm sorry, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. 7th note out of 8. The high C, of course, being the 8th note. So what you've got there is all the strings are open except for your bottom string at fret 2, your A string. So open G, open C, open E, 2nd fret A string. That's your C major 7. Now the next chord, of course, and this is Evie's favorite chord, is the C6. Evie loves this chord because you don't have to fret anything. This is an open strum. So the C6 sounds just like this. So at the very beginning, what you hear is a, right? Boom. We're going to play an open, just the C string, if you can target that just by itself. Then you're going to play a C major 7, 2nd fret, 2nd finger, A string. Then you're going to release that finger and play an open strum. We're going to do that twice. Great. Now, next up, this is actually a fairly challenging chord. It's going to be an F major 7. Not our classic F. We are going to get to that at some point, where your first finger is on the E string, 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G, fret 2. The F major 7 is actually quite a bit further out. And one of the best ways, I think, to identify this chord, most of your soprano ukuleles have a dot at fret 5 and at fret 7. That's going to be really valuable for you as you're playing this F major 7 chord. So you can see here, I've got a dot at fret 5, at 7, and then at 10, and then again at 12. We're not going to need to worry about these. We're not going to get that far out ashore, okay? Remember, we like to call this area the beach, or the shore, or home base, 1st fret. So you're going to come up to the 5th fret, and you're going to go all the way across that 5th fret with your 1st finger, and it's going to need to be nice and flat, right? Kind of guarding that fret. It's a power chord. So this is not easy. You're going to really want to be patient with yourself with this. Your 1st finger is going to go all the way across fret 5. Your 3rd finger is going to need to come to the 7th fret, which should also have a dot on it, or circle. 7th fret with your 3rd finger on your A string. And then we're going to release that all the way across 5th fret to get an F6. So we're going from an F major 7 to an F6. Now let's take a look at those chords. So here we are. We've got F major 7. You've got 5th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret on your G, C, and E string respectively, and then 7th fret on your A string. Then the F6, you're just releasing that. This is why you want to have your first finger all the way across that 5th fret to get to your F6. Woo, it's a tall order. It's not easy, but I know you can do it. I've seen some of you do it. I've seen all of you do it, actually. So here we go, F major 7. So what I'm doing there is I've got my first finger again all the way across fret 5. My third finger taps that. We're going to fret that 7th fret A string. Right? So in essence, what we're really playing here is we're playing a C and an F. Right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's all you need to know for your intro and your outro. Keep in mind that the intro has 2 phrases of that, right? We're going to have that C major 7, C6, C major 7, C6, right? 2 of those, followed by 2 of the F major 7, F6, F major 7, F6, and then that repeats. So we do that twice, okay? So this is how the intro works. We've got play along with me, right? Halfway through the intro, and okay, so that's how the intro works, and that's actually some of the most complicated playing in the entire song. It's similar to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? Where that introduction to the song is actually some of the most complicated fretting and strumming in the whole song. And once you get through that, you can kind of coast a little bit. Okay, so next up, we're going to talk about our verse, verse 1. This is where we get this phrasing, this chord progression pretty much stays the same throughout this entire verse. You've got an F major 7 again, then a G7, then a C major 7, then a C6. Okay, so F major 7, again, just to remind you, is all the way across fret 5 with your third finger at fret 7 on the A string. So fret 5 on your G, fret 5 on your C, fret 5 on your E, and you're going to want to keep that finger on the A string as well on the 5th fret, but you're going to kind of cancel that out with your third finger on the 7th fret. That's your first chord. Now keep in mind, you're pretty far out off the shore there, so you're going to be in the 5th fret, then you're going to need to maneuver really quickly to get all the way back to frets 1 and 2 for your G7. That's 1st fret E string, 2nd fret C string, 2nd fret A string, open G. Let's take a look at that diagram. Now we're getting kind of to the point where we've played about half of the chords in the song. G7, fret 1 E string, fret 2 C string, fret 2 A string, G string stays open, top string stays open, okay? So then the next part's fairly simple. So we've got that F major 7, we come all the way back down to the shore for G7, then you can take your first and third finger off, leaving your second finger for the C major 7, which we had in the intro, 2nd fret A string. Then you release that finger and do Evie's favorite chord, the C6, all the way open, okay? So, again, 4 different spots here, 4 different chords. F major 7, probably the toughest of those 4. Then you get to come all the way back to frets 1 and 2 for your G7. Then release those 2 fingers, leaving your second finger for the C major 7. Then open everything up. And this is a great opportunity now that you're playing that C7 and or C6, excuse me, and it's open. You can jump, you can use that opportunity to get yourself back into place for that F major 7. And that's what happens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phrases of that, right? Time is an illusion that helps things make sense. So we are always living in the present tense. It seems unforgiving when a good thing ends, but you and I will always be back then. 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 Okay, so that's the whole first verse. Now, when we get to our chorus, believe it or not, part of the reason this is called a chorus is because the words change a little bit. And we get this really fun playing with tense, right? We've got past tense, present tense, future tense. Singing will happen, happening, happened. Will happen, happening, happened, question mark. And we will happen again and again, because you and I will always be back then. Now, in this section, the first phrase of it is exactly the same as your verse phrase. You've got an F major 7, followed by a G7, followed by a C major 7, followed by C6, which is an open strum. But then a new chord gets introduced, which is called D7. So let's take a look at that. If we come over here, D7 is all the way across fret 2 on your first finger, G string, C string, and E string on fret 2, followed by fret 3 on your A string, just like you're playing a high C, right? So it's kind of a combination of D and C. So that's what it should sound like. So what I do here is I take my first finger all the way across fret 2, and then add my second finger. You can also use your third if you want, for fret 3 of your A string. So that's 2, 2, 2, 3. And if it helps you to draw a little rectangle, make a diagram with 4 strings and 3 frets, or in the case of F major 7, you can actually draw it further up and write a number 5, 6, 7 to identify those frets. And here you would have for D7, 2, 2, 2, 3. Those are the circles where you would plot your points and use your fingers. So D7. So here in our chorus we go, singing will happen, happening, happen. Will happen, happening, happen. D7. And we will happen again and again, 'cause you and I will always be back then. So here we have some symmetry, meaning if you break it apart into 4 bites, the first piece is just like your verse, F major 7 followed by G7 followed by C major 7 followed by C6. Second and third piece are the same. Here we replace that C6 with a D7. So you've got F major 7, G7, C major 7, D7. Then you do that again for the third line of the chorus, F major 7, G7, C major 7, D7, and then your fourth line of that chorus is exactly the same as the first, with your F major 7, G7, C major 7, C6. So if you want to, you can pause this video and you can try that phrase, right? So you're going to go, will happen, happening, happen. Will happen, happening, happen. Whoops. Happen. Will happen again and again, 'cause you and I will always be back then. Okay, congratulations. You made it through the first page of the song. Awesome. Now we're going to move on to page 2. And here, I actually like to think of this part here where we get to a G minor as the bridge to the song, kind of connecting the choruses and the verses. So, this is another new chord being introduced, our G minor. So, G minor is a lot like a G major, except instead of being on the second fret of your A string, you're going to be on the first fret. So, your G string should be open, your C string should be fretted at number 2, your E string fret at 3, and your A string fretted at 1. So it should sound like this. So open G, second fret C, third fret E, first fret A. Okay? Now, after that G minor, we get another new chord introduced, and this chord is similar to your C major 7, but it's just called C7. And as you can see, all the strings are open except for your A string at fret 1. So open G, open C, open E, first fret A. So that sounds like this. Think of that last chord we play in the Happy Birthday song. And many more. Open, 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 1. Okay, great. So then after that C7, we're going to play a standard F. And you can see that all the way over here. First fret E string, second fret G string. Open C, open A. This is probably one of the first few chords you ever learned on the uke. Okay, and then last but not least, we're getting to the point where now you've learned all the chords in the song is our D minor. D minor is second fret, just like an F, except you fill in the middle of the sandwich. Second fret G, second fret C, first fret E, open A, right? So if we go from G to A, that's 2, 2, 1, open. Okay, give yourselves a round of applause. You've now approached all the chords in the song. 10 chords. Nice round number. Okay, so if we look at that bridge here, it's going to go, if there was some amazing force outside of time to take us back to where we were, and hang each moment up like pictures on the wall inside a billion tiny frames so we can see it all, it will look like. So there, we've got our G minor, followed by C7, followed by F, followed by D minor. Then you repeat that, G minor to C7 to F to D minor, followed by our D7, G7, and G7 once again. Okay? Now we're at the last part of the song, the chorus, followed by our short little outro. So when we get to our chorus, keep in mind this is very, very similar to the chorus that you find at the bottom of page 1, where you're going to have F major 7 singing, will happen, happening happens, will happen, happening happen, D7, will happen again and again, 'cause you and I will always be back then, 'cause you and I will always be back then, 'cause you and I will always be back then, 'cause you and I will always be best friends. And then our little outro. And you made it to the end of the song. I know some of you are probably scratching your heads going, gosh, this is pretty complicated. But, and I actually have trouble playing it too. I've been playing the ukulele for 10 years, as you know, and I still think this song is really tricky. And that's part of what makes it such a great candidate for us to work on. Because a good challenge can be fun, right? Remember, it's not impossible. 10 chords. Got these wonderful words and this great sort of playing with different tenses. Time adventure. It's like time travel. So now what we're going to do is, if you need to take a moment to pause or write down any of these chords, C major 7, C6, F major 7, F6, seeing a pattern there, G7, D7, G minor, C7, D minor. This is a wonderful exploration of different chord shapes for the ukulele. And keep in mind that if you learn these chords, they're going to pop up again and again throughout your musical journey, throughout your life. These are really great chords to know. F, of course, as well. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to play through the entire song one more time. You can find it on YouTube. It's Adventure Time. Rebecca Sugar performs Time Adventure, Cartoon Network. You can find it, and she starts to sing the song at about the 23-second mark. But I recommend you watch the whole video. And actually, it's really touching, because at the very end of the video, you can see her teammates, her co-workers, and some of them are getting a little emotional. Some of them are crying a little bit. but I think it's sort of bittersweet, meaning that they're really happy, but it's also kind of the end of an era. It's the end of a chapter of their lives. And so they're just really kind of tears of joy. And I think it's a really great example of how music connects people and makes them feel together. So thank you again for joining me. We're going to try and play through the entire song. So I hope you'll pick up your uke and join me. I hope that you've been enjoying this video. I know I have. I think it's a lot of fun. And again, thanks so much to Olivia for suggesting this song. And if any of you have questions, please, I'm going to post a link to this YouTube video so that you can watch it. And then you can comment on Homeroom. You can send in videos of you practicing any of these songs we've been working on. And any questions or comments you have, I am more than happy to address those and help you out, okay? So don't give up. Don't be too hard on yourselves either. You're doing great. I'm really proud of all of you. Okay, I'm going to play the song. Turn it up a little.
Time is an illusion that helps things make sense. So we're always living in the present tense. It seems unforgiving when a good thing ends. But you and I will always be back then. 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 Singing will happen, happening happens. Will happen, happening happened. And will happen again and again. 'Cause you and I will always be back then.
G minor.
If there was some amazing force outside of time to take us back to where we were, and hang each moment up like pictures on the wall inside a billion tiny frames so that we could see it all. It would look like will happen, happening happened. Will happen, happening happened. And will happen again and again. 'Cause you and I will always be back then. 'Cause you and I will always be back then. 'Cause you and I will always be back then. That's why you and I will always be best friends.
Okay. And of course, the song receives a standing ovation and uproarious applause. I'm sort of giving you all a round of applause right now from my living room because I'm so proud of all the work that you all have been doing. So, these videos each week are meant to be 30 minutes in length. We're approaching that time now. I want to open it up to you all. If you have any questions, please let me know. Anything that you're having trouble with. And I hope you're all, again, staying safe and healthy during this strange time. And just know that we've made it this far. We're gonna get through this together. So I thank you all so much for your participation and all your hard work. One of the main things I think to remember with this song, to put it really simply, is that a lot of times your start point is going to be up here at frets 5 and 7. And if you can find your way there, then just know that you're going to get to go back to your home base. Right? So really one of the biggest challenges I think with this song is finding that 5th, 6th, 7th fret, you know, that space that's all the way up here, 5 and 7, and then being able to come back to the shore. Right, and then go back out and then back to the shore again. If you can master that and keep working on that, then that's really a huge part of the battle of this song. So, keep strumming, keep smiling, and thank you for helping me teach you. Stay positive, and I will see you on the other side. But before that, I'll see you next Tuesday. All right, have fun. Mahalo.